Gumai.
What happened in that Somnium?
We saw it too.
The 4 murdered women are without a doubt the victims of the original Cyclops serial killings.
That means...
The murders that occurred 6 years ago are these memory fragments that coalesced in this Somnium.
No. That means the person who killed them was...
A binder. It's the sync manual. A long table.
This brings back memories.
Und nie wieder das.
Date and I consummated our love for each other many times on
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, I don't either. Many objects are scattered on the table. I open it up. There's a bunch of Marimos inside. The fuck is that? Was sind Marimos? A CRT monitor.
Date, can you turn on the TV? Videodrone is about to start.
What's Videodrone?
You haven't seen Videodrone? It's a cult classic.
I haven't seen it, and that's not a TV anyway.
Different strings of carry out, das steht da immer. This door leads to the sink room. You can see the sink machine through the window. Ours is in the sink subject's chair. Achso, die ist noch nicht hier, huh? A chair. A locker. Oh god, nicht die schon wieder.
Hey, did you hear something just now?
Hmm? It must be in your head.
The entrance. Okay. Monitor aus, da schaut euch noch nichts weiter. Pewter looks like his usual self. The red figure from the sink.
In the Somnium earlier, I saw someone else who might be the criminal. Who was he?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, das war alles. Wow. About the original and new incidents.
I don't believe there's any meaningful connection between the original and new Cyclops serial killings, I mean.
Why is that?
The culprit is not the same. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
How can you be so sure?
Because I can. Don't worry about it. Just trust me.
About the original Cyclops killer.
Remember what the boss said this morning. The original Cyclops killer has yet to be brought to justice. After the investigation got going, it was taken over by the government and classified. That was the last we heard anything about it. Of course, they paid lip service to the idea that the investigation was ongoing, but in reality, it was dropped completely.
Why did the original Cyclops killer appear in Iris' Somnium?
The sinker does not always experience the somnium they expect. Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones. When using the sync machine for an investigation, we don't always see the memories we expect to see. True, oftentimes a subject will subconsciously want to express their dark secrets and repressed memories. That is why we see them so often in Somnia, and why those Somnia are so useful for criminal investigations. But this is not a guarantee. We cannot control the content of our dreams, after all.
Why did the original Cyclops killer... Oh, geht noch weiter.
It's like I told you before. Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones. This can be expressed as an equation. Dream D equals memory A plus memory B plus memory C. This, of course, means that Dream D is a fictional event. However, the same cannot necessarily be said about memory A, B, and C. Those happened in reality. In other words, fiction is built from combinations of reality.
So what I saw in Somnium earlier...
Yes, I believe Iris actually witnessed those events.
Are all memories real?
Pewter, you said that memories happen in reality, right? But what about false memories? How do we know if the memory really happened?
Even false memories are built from the pieces of real ones. If you disassemble those pieces, you will find real events.
What about things you see in movies or television?
The events might be fictional, but the experience is not. Our imaginations are limited to what we have seen. We cannot invent something whole cloth.
Boss has a serious look on her face. The blue figure from the sink.
Help me understand this. What I saw during the sink earlier, that was the scene of the original Cyclops serial killings, right?
Yeah.
So the person doing the killing was the original Cyclops killer.
Right.
Did you see him? He was...
I saw your face. The original Cyclops killer was...
Can't be. That's impossible.
Date, you cannot say that for certain. You have no memories past 6 years ago.
So perhaps, Mr. Date, you are the killer. You're missing your left eye, so you steal them from others.
I'm kidding. You can't be the Cyclops killer.
Really?
Of course not. Do you think I would hire a serial killer?
Da war noch ein A dazu, das nicht. Do you think I would hire a serial killer? Mamma mia.
Did you see him?
You interrogated Iris before the sink. What you saw in the Somnium was just a manifestation of the fear you put in her.
About the original Cyclops serial killings? Und what about the original... Was ist denn da der Unterschied? Ich frage erstmal das obere. About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Didn't I tell you? The entire case is a state secret. No matter how many times you ask, I won't tell you anything.
What about the original Cyclops serial killings?
The Cyclops killer appeared 6 years ago. I lost my memories 6 years ago. There has to be some kind of connection.
There isn't. It's a coincidence.
Really?
Really.
Why did the original Cyclops killer appear in Iris' Somnium?
You can't dream of something you know nothing about.
That means Iris must know about the killings.
6 years ago, Iris was 12.
Did she witness the crime at age 12? And not just one, but all 4?
Summarize for me, please. I didn't learn anything from speaking with Boss and Pewter. If anything, the mystery only grew deeper. Pewter shook me from my thoughts.
Dante, it looks like Iris is about to wake up.
Oh.
Got it.
I headed to the sink room.
Hey, Iris. About that dream earlier.
Dream? What dream?
There is no point in asking her, Date. The subject of a sink does not experience somnium in the way that you do. They will not remember it.
Then what about the Cyclops killer from 6 years ago?
Cyclops killer? I remember hearing it on the news, but I was just a little girl. I don't remember anything specific.
You don't?
No,
What about the scene of the murder?
I don't know. I've never been there.
But
Dreams are pieced together from memories, even repressed subconscious ones.
You can't dream of something you know nothing about. Date, could you take Iris home?
huh?
We do not have enough evidence to hold her. Even in Somnium, we couldn't find anything.
Mist.
The law demands that we release her.
You cannot decline, Date.
Date, could we make a stop first?
Sure. Where?
Marble. It's a bar in Golden Yokocho.
You know about that place?
Yeah, Mr. Okiura took me before.
Why do you want to go there?
There's something I want to talk about.
We can't talk here?
It might take a while.
What do you think?
There's no reason to refuse. Besides, there's a lot I want to ask her, too. All right, sure.
Okay, Iris nodded and pulled out her phone. Is she sending a Nile message to someone? I was curious, but I didn't want to pry. I turned the wheel and drove to Marble. 9:41 abends, also 20 vor 10 schon. When we walked in, I didn't see Mama anywhere. To my surprise, I saw Ota sitting at the counter.
Tessa!
Oh, Ota!
Sofa. Ich glaube, jetzt ist eh kein blöde Sprüche-Moment. I never thought I'd run into you here.
I was nihiling with Tessa earlier. She said she was going to Marble, so I got here just before you did. Look, I was really worried about her. She was about to be charged with a serious crime.
Where's Mama?
Oh, she left a little while ago. She said something about going to help an acquaintance. She told me to watch the place until she got back.
Die ist geht ja sehr verantwortungsbewusst mit ihrer Kneipe um.
How well do you know Mama?
Not at all. It's my first time here.
Wie gesagt, I wasn't particularly surprised. Mama's always dependent on the kindness of strangers ever since she opened Marble. Isn't your phone broken?
No, this is my new one. You're thinking of the one I dropped in that puddle.
Was ist eigentlich mit ihr? You called Ota here?
No, I didn't tell him to come. He just showed up on his own.
Ich glaube, Mizuki vertraut ihm nur, weil sie 12 ist und er ihr immer wahrscheinlich erzählt, wie toll er ist, obwohl das gar nicht ist. Iris, weiß ich nicht, vielleicht findet sie ihn einfach nur nützlich oder sie ist zu naiv, um zu merken, was für ein Dödel er ist. Und ich glaube, Mama ist einfach nur naiv in Bezug auf alle Leute, die hier reinkommen. What was that thing about?
This actually works out nicely. I want to ask you something, Ota. It's about a Nile message you sent Iris. You said you wouldn't tell anyone about that thing.
Gut, wir wissen ja jetzt, worum es da ging. Weiß man aber auf diesem Pfad ja noch nicht.
That you'd stay quiet no matter what.
Es ging ja darum, dass er sie zu einem Zeitpunkt gesehen hat, wo sie alleine Rangers Auto gefahren hat.
What were you talking about?
Zu einem Zeitpunkt, der sie auch nochmal extra verdächtig erscheinen ließ. Und halt ohne Führerschein.
I'll tell her about the two-witter thing. I swear I'll do it.
Geez, fine. Just don't tell anyone else, okay? But before I tell you, who's that?
What?
At the door. Someone's standing outside.
Oh, Date. Du bist dumm, Date. Manchmal. Jukai. Marble, 10 vor 3 Uhr morgens. When I woke up, I was lying on the sofa.
Where am I?
My head was killing me and my memory was foggy. I felt a sudden pain in my neck. I shut up, rubbing my neck. When I looked over the counter, I saw a monster staring back at me. It took me a few seconds before I realized it was just Mama.
It looks like you're awake now.
As Mama spoke to me, it all came rushing back. I remembered everything. A refrigerator. Okay, kommt kein dummer Spruch. What time is it?
It'll be 3 o'clock soon. In the morning, of course.
Where's Ota?
Ota? The boy I asked to watch the bar?
I'd say he's too old to be called a boy, but yeah.
He was already gone when I came back. All I saw was you getting your beauty sleep on the floor.
Damn it, Ota. What are you thinking?
It appears that he took off with Iris.
What were you doing during all this?
My power was shut down due to the stun gun. I have rebooted in safe mode and am now operational.
Why the fuck didn't you wake me up?
I tried. You wouldn't budge. I thought you were passed out drunk, so I left you like that.
Vielleicht schon
I
öfter
didn't have a
vorgekommen.
glass in front of me, right?
So you weren't drunk?
Didn't have a single drop.
Oh, I thought you were drinking straight out of the bottle. Just like the old days.
Oh,
Date, the boss is calling.
10 vor 3.
Oh, how am I gonna report this one?
Oh.
Date, listen. Stay calm, but this is an emergency. Just now, the killer... Well, just watch the video. I sent the address to Iba.
Das kommt mir bekannt vor.
Iris. No, that's...
The criminal is streaming this live.
Iva, the source.
Identified. The Okiura Fishery Cold Storage Warehouse, Koto District.
Okiura?
Date, focus. We need to get to the site, now.
I thanked Mama and ran out of marble.
What's our ETA?
Our destination is far from here. 20 minutes at the fastest.
Please, please let me make it in time.
Oh. Live stream video.
That sick bastard!
Tessa! Hold on! I'll save you!
Ota!
Stay away from Tessa! Ah!
I kept my foot to the gas the whole time. I could feel the sweat on my palms. The engine raised a high-pitched scream, but I could barely hear it. My heartbeat was pounding in my ears, shaking me to the core. How much time had passed? The feeling of time itself had disappeared. Eventually the car reached a long bridge. Shortly after, the image changed.
No, it can't be. No. Stop! No!
3:35 Uhr. Wer zur Hölle ist Olaf Littenbach? Nee, will ich eigentlich gar nicht wissen. Die 2 Autos sind wieder da. Das dürfte ja so wie letztes Mal passiert sein. Nur, dass wir diesmal zu spät waren. Tja. Hä? Moment. Da hinten lag die zerschnetzelte Iris. Und jetzt liegt der zerschnetzelte Eisbär da. Oh.
Ota.
Oh. Police Headquarters, Monday. 2 nach 10 Uhr morgens.
There you are. Finally. I was looking all over for you. It's rare to see you down like this, but it's understandable. You blame yourself for this, don't you? Beating yourself up about taking Iris to Marble, and about letting Ota get the upper hand on you, am I right? Shall I tell you what Investigation HQ thinks? Ota Matsushita is a criminal stalker who committed murder-suicide. Ota had a selfish love for Iris. He was under the delusion that Iris loved him too. But Iris refused Ota. So Ota decided that he and Iris should be together in the afterlife. Killed her, then killed himself.
Wenn man das hier zuerst macht, weiß man natürlich noch nicht, dass zumindest laut den Ergebnissen der anderen Route Soul Sejima da drin steckte. Und würde das hier natürlich sogar ziemlich plausibel finden. Fällt mir nur gerade auf. Aber...
That's ridiculous. Ota would never kill Iris.
Kann ja nicht sein.
And how do you explain the other 2 murders? Iris's left eye was hollowed out. Just like Renju and Shoko. Those 3 murders were definitely executed by the same person. The new Cyclops killer. There's no way that's Ota. Too many pieces don't fit. Too many contradictions. Like killing Iris.
Such as?
Ota had no incentive to kill Renju.
Maybe he was thinking like this. The reason Iris and I can't be together is because her agency prohibits it, making the president, Renju, the ultimate bad guy in his mind.
Mizuki is Ota's close friend. Do you really think Ota would kill his friend's father?
Ota had no incentive to kill Shoko either.
Shoko was married to Renju. Maybe he was trying to get at Renju by killing her.
That's a stretch. They've been divorced for years. Ota knows all about it. He wouldn't use Shoko to get to Renju.
Ota's behavior during the video.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota showed himself on the stream. If he was gonna kill Iris and then himself, why would he do that? The only reason you would show yourself like that is to prove that you weren't the culprit. Ota and the polar bear on the screen at the same time would prove that they're not the same person. That behavior would be totally unnecessary if he was gonna commit suicide anyway.
Well, maybe he wasn't planning on dying at first. After he killed Iris, he realized that he couldn't live with himself.
So he lies down on the workbench and turns on the ice-cutting machine himself? I don't buy it.
What about the polar bear costume?
The culprit was wearing a polar bear costume, probably to hide their identity. But if murder-suicide was the plan, the costume served no purpose.
There are some additional discrepancies. I analyzed the investigation report. Judging by his wound, Ota was stabbed in the side by a kitchen knife or something similar.
Are you sure?
I am.
I told the boss what I found.
Oh, I know that.
Well?
Ota could have stabbed himself. Maybe he thought it would be a fatal wound, but when it didn't work, he went for the ice-cutting machine.
Then, shouldn't we have recovered the kitchen knife from the scene?
Maybe he threw it in the ocean.
Boss, come on. Ota goes out to the water, stabs himself in the gut, throws the knife over the side, then walks back to the warehouse?
Well, I wasn't being serious. I didn't think Ota was the culprit from the beginning. I was just playing devil's advocate for HQ.
Really?
Yes, really.
Anyway, Ota didn't kill anyone, and he didn't kill himself. Here's what I think happened.
Stay away from Tessa!
Ota knew Iris was kidnapped, so he rushed onto the scene. That's when he saw the culprit wearing the polar bear costume. He tried to fight him off, but ended up being stabbed in the side. He was weakened and losing blood at the culprit's mercy. The culprit forced him into the costume, then under the ice cutting machine, and then...
Then, who is the culprit?
I wish I knew.
We're up to 4 victims, but Ota was a special circumstance. He wasn't specifically targeted by the culprit.
Right. And he was the only one to not have his eye pulled out.
So let's focus on the 3 other victims. Shoko, Renju, and Iris. What connects these 3?
Connections.
If you find a connection between the victims, you find a connection to the culprit. That's the theory of investigation, right?
You think the new Cyclops killer is related to them somehow?
Maybe, maybe not. But it's a good starting point.
Ota's mother, Mayumi?
Mayumi had motive for killing Iris and Renju. Mayumi hated Iris, and she didn't think well of Lemniscate either. And since Renju is the president... Anyway, the weak point is Renju's ex-wife, Shoko. I can't imagine why Mayumi would kill her. And above all else, she would never harm her only son, let alone kill him.
Iris's mother, Hitomi?
Hitomi and Renju are definitely linked. They were high school classmates, and she did say that she met Shoko twice. But I can't imagine she would kill Iris in such a gruesome way. No matter what the circumstances were, it seems impossible to me.
Moma Kumakura?
Renju and Shoko were connected to the Kumakuras, but there's no connection to Iris.
Renju and Shoko's daughter, Mizuki?
Mizuki has the strongest connections with all 3 victims. Shoko and Renju were her parents, and she was close friends with Iris. She was good friends with Ota too. But that's why I could never believe Mizuki would kill all 4 of them. Thinking of her as a suspect is ridiculous.
Congressman So Sejima?
Renju, Shoko, and So. There is a connection between Renju and Shoko through the Kumakuras, but again, I can't see any clear link to Iris.
What about me?
I know Renju and Shoko, and I'm connected to Iris, but I have an alibi. Aside from Shoko, there's no way I could have killed any of them. No. Now that I think about it, Shoko too. I don't remember killing her. My memories from 6 years ago are missing, but I still have my memory of recent events. And if I start doubting myself now...
Date, I can say without a doubt that there is 0 possibility you are the new Cyclops killer. I have been working with you for years. I know better than anyone that you are innocent.
Bipolar
I
bear.
thought it over, boss. Of the people I know, I can't peg any of them as the murderer.
And no leads to pursue?
No.
Then there's only one thing you can do. Continue your investigation. Do whatever it takes to get the culprit, to get justice for the victims.
You're right. Got it, boss.
4 nach 11. Gut, wir haben so circa Viertel nach 8 angefangen. Ich überlege gerade, ob ich zumindest noch das Cold Storage Warehouse angucken soll. Andererseits ist es natürlich ein guter Punkt zum Stoppen, wenn wir jetzt gerade am Anfang einer neuen Investigation sind. I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning was running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin, but the center of my body was burning hot. Shelves packed with cardboard boxes. I don't see any clues here. A police officer. Any progress on the investigation?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Okay. An oil drum. Unlikely to be a clue.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them. I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it. I have done some research.
Was denn noch?
As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras. The same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually.
Ach, jetzt wird das hier eingeworfen.
Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
A video camera and laptop used for the stream.
This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
Forklift. Okay. A hook is hanging from the steel and crane. Iris and Ota were sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Iris and Ota.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m. Right here. Iris and Ota were...
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound or...
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Maybe Ota was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. That led to a scuffle and Ota ended up with a knife wound in his side. He lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put inside the costume, then finally cut open by the ice cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown.
Iris and Ota's bodies are under autopsy. Their bodies aren't here anymore.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered. Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Ice cutting machine. Any clues?
No, nothing so far.
I'm heading out. Let me know if you find anything. I let them know, then left the warehouse. Naja, ich meine, Shokos Auge war in Renjus Magen aufgetaucht, ne? Im Ota-Ending. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. What is he doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Oh?
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Ja, das war das Einzige bisher.
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date.
Weil
I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice.
Renju gestorben ist.
So, if I can help you, even a little.
Ist er so darauf aus, ne?
Why didn't you say anything in Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
All right, let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes.
Moment, was? Achso, dass der frühere, nicht die neuen Morde. Okay.
I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
Ja, das hast du gesagt.
Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer.
Ach ja, okay.
Although, it's more accurate to say killers.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras.
Ach, sieh mal einer an.
They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
Okay, dann können wir jetzt hier aufhören. Nee, jetzt will ich auch noch mit ihm weitersprechen. Pewter looks grimly serious. About Rohan.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye.
Mhm.
She was already dead. He put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman.
Das ist beim Neuen ja anders. Da haben die ja immer noch gelebt.
But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge.
Der hat auch immer das rechte Auge dann genommen. Hieß es nicht auch, dass seine rechte Gehirnhälfte kaputt war? Vielleicht war das auch irgendwie da eine Kompensationszwang dafür so.
His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath.
Ich weiß gar nicht, ob das eine Theorie ist oder Rohan das selber alles erklärt hat.
The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye.
Klingt eher danach, als hätte Rohan das auch gestanden.
Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Who is the murderous psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life. That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Why did the Cyclops case get classified?
That, I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Summarize for me.
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice,
There were two Cyclops killers.
and one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. That means one remains. Who is he?
After his fourth murder, he was arrested by the police.
Oh?
They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Wait a moment.
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89.
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars. Neither of them had the opportunity.
Pewter looked really serious. Tja, dann können wir ja hier jetzt mal aufhören. Und machen in 4 Tagen weiter. Ja, also nach dem, was Pio da gerade gesagt hätte, wäre Rohan der die Augen rausgenommen hat und Number 89 der mit dem Gehirndefekt, der nur durch Murder gewisse glücksbringende Hormone ausstoßen konnte. So. Warum speichere ich denn jetzt nochmal?